level playing field right here on The Morning Fix, and I'm joined by Murad Rayani, an independent MCA aspirant for the Parklands High Ridge Ward. Murad, welcome to The Morning Fix and, of course, to Radio 44.
Thank you, Bhargav. Good choice of music. I like Sukhshinder. It's given me some, a bit of psych. How are you? How are you? Thank you for inviting me here, and I'm glad to be here and glad to get an opportunity to tell people who I am, why I'm standing, and what we're going to do.
Perfect.
To change Parklands High Ridge.
Perfect. So let's get right into it. Who is Murad Rayani? Tell us a bit about where you grew up, studied, what are you doing currently?
Great. So Murad Rayani is a determined, friendly, socially conscious individual. I grew up in Parklands. I still live and work here. I studied law, but I changed to journalism. So for the last 20 years, literally, I've been making documentaries about human rights, about environmental issues, about politics. I was very fortunate to team up with Salim Amin, Camera Pics, when I moved back from New York, and we made a documentary about his father, Mo and Me, which was, aired on Al Jazeera, and we did several documentaries. We've covered human rights issues, environmental issues. I've filmed in the slums, I've filmed in Ethiopia, you name it. I've been everywhere. So in a nutshell, that's me, a journalist, but having studied and looked and chronicled what's been going on in our country, I decided, let's make a stand. If not now, then when? So that's the reason why I'm standing as an independent candidate, Parklands High Ridge Ward. I've got some great ideas. I think the journalistic background has really helped me to understand some of the issues that people face.
All right. And according to you, of course, what is the role of an MCA? What do you say would be the extremely important thing that an MCA would have to do, or things?
Great. I think the audience and the listeners and the voters must understand that the role of the MCA is a very crucial one. He or she is the most directly and closest represented. He or she is the person who's closest to the electorate. The role of the MCA is to pass legislation, to oversee expenditure for funds for things like hospitals, clinics, libraries, health and the environment. And the role of the MCA is also to hold the people like the MPs and the governors to account, to say, are you delivering the service, the basic services to the people? So it's a critical role. So at this point, I want to emphasize that let's not underestimate the role and the importance of the MCA. It's a critical role. Like I said, legislator, oversight, looking over budgets. So these are kind of these are the important roles of the MCA, and that's the reason why we must choose someone wisely.
Yes.
Because your governor or your MP, you might not see them, but your MCA is the person you go and talk to when there's a blocked drain, there's no power,
roads.
All the roads. I just came here. Mutama Road is in a bad state. Huh?
It is. It is. But I completely agree with you. And having integrity is one of the things that an MCA needs to have, right? Because we have seen time and again that promises are made but never kept. So that is something that we feel that now going forward, an MCA has to be held accountable, like you correctly mentioned, who you'd be meeting that person almost every now and then whenever something is hitting the roof. But why are you now standing as an independent? Why now, Murad? Why not before? Or why not through a party, and why independently?
Well, I like music a lot, and Tracy Chapman, one of her songs, she said, "If not now, then when?" Right? And I'll give you another quote. This is Albert Einstein, who says the world is a dangerous place not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Right? So we complain. We sit at the karogas, we sit in the bars, we complain and we do nothing. So I think the time to act is now.
Yeah.
My independent slogan is Ni wakati Wakati ni sasa, wakati ni sisi. It's time, time is now, and we are time. So, again, if not now, then when? So having, looked at, filmed the politicians, filmed development projects, seen all of this happen, I just decided, let's have a go.
Yeah.
Let's have a go, and I believe I have, the ideas, and we can talk about them in a bit, because we've got very specific ideas of how we're going to change Parklands High Ridge. My aim is to make Parklands High Ridge a model ward for Nairobi, and a model for Kenya and the rest of the world. Why not? Why not? We have the resources, we have the talent, we have the ability. Let's go.
Indeed. Well, if you have any questions for Murad, hit us up on 0758 123 444. You can call in, you can text in, or you can WhatsApp us. The number is the same. That's 0758 123 444. And since you like some upbeat tracks, Murad, this one's for you. It is for Akhtar Shraddha Kapoor with Rock On Revisited. Miley Cyrus, Midnight Sky, playing for you right here on The Morning Fix, and we're still in conversation with Murad Rayani, an independent aspirant for the Parklands High Ridge Ward MCA. Now, Murad, you did mention a couple of things before we went into the songs. Let's get right into it, okay? What is your manifesto? Tell us all about it.
Great. I think there's a lot we can do.
Yeah.
I think one of the immediate ones is that for some strange reason, Parklands High Ridge doesn't have a residents association.
Mm-hmm.
Places like Kangemi, they have residents association. So immediately, let's set up the residents association. That's important because it gives us a voice. We come together, we can articulate, we have a platform where we can engage in the local council, the water board, the electricity board. So let's get that going immediately. I think the other thing that we need to do is, I'm very keen on the environment. Mazingira safi, roho safi. Siasa safi. Because if we can't just make sure that our roads are clean, there's hygiene, there's sanitation, then I think as leaders we'll have failed. So the environment definitely, residents association. What I'd like to do is also set up a hotline. 24-hour hotline that can deal with issues of security, issues of, if there's a leakage of water, if there's an electricity outage, then we can kind of address these issues through the hotline. But we need to get the residents of Parklands High Ridge together so that we can advocate for some of the things we want. The other thing I want to do is to make sure that any funds that are dedicated towards things like schools, clinics, are properly accounted for. So accountability has to be at the center of what we're going on. So what I want to do is have quarterly reports of what we're spending, how we're spending it, and then maybe even quarterly we can have an open forum where people can come and discuss, the issues that are affecting them. I think one of the other things is to work on sort of public-private initiatives to solve some of the problems. So I'll just give you a quick example. Since December, we've been conducting cleanings around Parklands High Ridge, right? We've been doing that through well-wishers and friends who have been supporting us. But now we've got people like Chandaria Industries involved. They're helping us recycle. We're trying to get people like Danco to help with drainage. So I believe that with these, because these are the experts, these are the people who have solutions. So why not bring them in to create solutions to these problems? So already Chandaria is helping us with recycling. We're looking at partners who can help with drainage, and we're also looking at people who can help with lighting, solar solutions. There's a lot of there are a lot of solutions out there. We just need to harness them.
Yeah.
So I think immediately the environment, accountability, a response unit that can link up the different communities with the authorities. I think we'll get this thing going.
All right. Okay. And you did mention about security, which is one of the questions that we've received. It is a main concern for the Parklands High Ridge residents, especially right now. We've been seeing quite a few number of the security groups, constantly, this house has been gotten into, broken into, so and so has lost their lives, so and so is robbed. What will you do if elected to tackle matters of security is the question that I've received from one of the listeners.
Sure, good question. I think there are two parts to this question. I think the first part is that we already have the ORC, the Ismailis, the Sikhs. We have these groups that are very active in reporting incidences and responding to them. I get alerts all the time. So I think we need to activate that and try and create a better link with them and the police. I think if we're going forward, we need to not treat, let's say, the Kanjo or the police as enemies. We need to incorporate them and tell them this is part and parcel of what we're trying to do. So I think better links with the organizations like the ORC, the Ismailis, the Sikh communities, they all have their groups that are monitoring situations of security. So activate them and bring a better link with them and the police and the authorities. And like I said, a hotline, 24-hour hotline, I think would go a long way into responding to some of these issues, which are very critical. I mean, security is vital.
True, very true. Security is vital. I've got one more question from a listener, and that is about the common frustration that you also showed just now, how Mtama Lane is. Why are the roads in this ward so heavily damaged, and when will they be fixed? This is a big question.
Well, I think a lot of wards are complaining about that, but especially now that the rains have come, so now it's going to get worse, right?
Yes.
So I think let's do this. I think we can, first of all, part of what I want to do is do a mapping strategy for the ward. So we understand where are the main problems in terms of the roads and the other facilities. Let's identify where the problem is, and then I think let's not do this business where when the election comes, you start fixing the roads, right? Let's start doing it from the start, and let's do it properly, because what happens is, and everyone knows, it's built, and then in about a few weeks we've got the same pothole in the same place. So I think let's map the roads out, the key areas that we need to manage and maintain, and then let's when we go in, and let's put in proper, if it's Cabro, if it's proper drainage, proper cement, let's just do it properly. Let's do it one time and not wait till the election comes and then you're doing some window dressing. Right? I don't know, the current establishment is saying that it's recarpeted 90% of the roads in Parklands High Ridge. I don't know, maybe that's a parallel Parklands, because it's not the Parklands that you and I know for sure. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Murad is still with us, so if you have any questions for him, 0758 123 444 is the number to reach us on.
Opinions and views expressed on Radio 44 are solely of the panelist and interviewee and do not represent those of Radio 44, Radiocraft Media Limited, its affiliates, nor its employees.
Sigala with Melody playing for you right here on the Morning Fix, and still in conversation with Murad Rayani, an independent aspirant for the MCA position on the Parklands High Ridge ward. And Murad, once again, welcome to Radio 44. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, B. I'm going to request one song at the next break, which
Done.
is Isa's Leo ni Leo. Kesho ni Muongo. So today is today, right? Okay, good.
Super. But you
Excellent.
have mentioned about the environment a couple of times. It is a cause that is very close to your heart. Tell us more about what you've done in the world. You did mention a few things about how Chandaria Industries, Danco, and all of these guys have been supporting you.
I think the environment is a cross-cutting issue. It affects everybody. Climate change is a global issue. Plastic waste is a big issue. I'm going to give you a quote, which I used in a documentary about corruption, which I did many years ago with Camera Picks again. But it says that we didn't inherit the earth from our ancestors, but rather we hold it in trust for our children and future generations, right? So this has been very close to me, even before I decided to stand as an MCA, perhaps because of COVID and I was sitting and bored, but I decided, okay, let's start the cleaning exercises. So since December, we've conducted 12 cleaning exercises across Parklands High Ridge. We involve community members from Deep Sea. There's a Kijiji called Wajoroge just behind City Park. We get about 60 community members, mainly women, mainly women who are looking after siblings or young children. And they come and they clean and we give them something. And so this is, we started this, way before even I got onto decided to stand for an MCA. And I think, when people ask about integrity and say, what am I going to do? Well, I've already started doing this,
Right.
before I'm even elected. And it's made a big impact. The other day we were in Deep Sea. And the interesting thing about Deep Sea, B, is that a lot of the people who work in the restaurants, who clean our houses, our askaris, they all live there.
Yeah.
So it's not like, we have a vested interest in making sure their lives are better. And then it's a two-way street. Then our lives become better. So we went to Deep Sea and we literally cleaned a sewerage. It took about 10 people with, PPEs, but we went in and we literally cleaned a sewerage that hadn't been cleaned maybe for 2-3 years. And in fact, this is a funny story because I actually fell in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I had to get my friend Hassan to take me quickly home. I had a shower and I came back. But anyway, these are the kind of things that we're doing. And, a lot of people come election time and they make promises.
Correct. And that was supposed to be my next question.
Okay, so
Right.
in Swahili it's ahadi, ahadi, promises, ahadi,
Yes.
ahadi. So what I'm saying is sisi ni watu wa kitendo, which is action. And we've already started. So I think, the fact that we've done 10 cleanings with the help of well-wishers, friends, contributing to that has already shown that we're on the ground. So and of course I think it's one of the primary issues of our country and globally.
So you did tackle a couple of things when talking about the environment, of course, but you brought up integrity, you brought up the promises. Now that is one of the things that a listener has also asked, that integrity appears to be a major concern amongst the voters. And of course, come election time, we've seen it in the past, we're going to fix your roads, or we're going to make security so good, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then 5 years, nothing. Come back to election time. Again, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Nothing again.
Well, I think integrity comes from, okay, let's not waste, 5 years like we've wasted, right? So integrity comes from people making the right choices, right? So it's up to you to decide. For me, like I said, I've been involved in covering the slums, covering development issues, filming the 2007 election. My camera was stolen in Kisumu. I've upset a lot of politicians by the kind of questions I've asked. So what I'm saying in terms of me personally is that my record in terms of covering these issues, I think puts me a little bit of a step ahead. I also have, a very good family background. My father's a lawyer. He's still practicing. He worked with Kenya Cricket for a long time. I have a mother who's given me a lot of support and encouraged my journalistic instincts. So I think, when it comes to integrity, I think, now it's up to, each one of you to decide, who you want to choose. And again, let's go back to the MCA. This is a critical role. The president, the governor are somewhere, very far away from you or me. But the MCA is the person who's going to be the closest to you when it comes to trying to solve some of these problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough. And now, big question, Murad. Why should one vote for you?
Well, because I think I can get the job done. Like I said, I started by saying I'm a very friendly, determined person. My record speaks for itself. Fortunately, with Camera Picks, we went to Oslo when Wangari Maathai became the first African woman to get the Nobel Peace Prize. We've interviewed presidents, we've interviewed people, we've talked about these issues, and I continue to talk about them. So come August the 9th, whether or not I'm elected, I'm still going to continue with my program,
Super. Well, Jimmy, why did I say Jimmy? Murad is still with us, so keep it locked right here. And Murad, this one is definitely for you.
Thank you.
It is Isa Leo Ni Leo. I can see Murad dancing to this already. He's just shaking his head
Well, leo ni leo, wasimaya kesho ni muongo. Today is today, and ni wakati, right?
Yes, wakati ni sasa, wakati ni sisi.
Exactly.
I think I got that one right now. Murad, thank you so much for being on air with us and sharing all that you have in mind and what you want to do as an MCA if elected for the Parklands High Reach Ward. And I have one last question for you, which is any parting thoughts that you may have that you may want to put out there before the August 9 elections?
I guess, the question is integrity and leadership, right? That keeps coming up.
Yes.
So I think this is another quote from Mandela, Nelson Mandela. If you want the corporation of people around you, you must make them feel important. And to do that, you do that by being genuine and humble.
True.
So, my Swahili is getting better than my Gujarati or my Punjabi, but, heshima, respect.
Yes.
I think is a very important word in terms of leadership. So what we're talking about is accountable leadership that respects the people. I think the politicians that have come, they just treat people like, they're just...
down there.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say is that, look, I know there's a lot of voter apathy and people say it's going to be the same. But, come on, let's get out there. Let's vote. We've got 5 years. We've got a golden opportunity. You've got a candidate, here that I think has some ideas, has the drive, has the determination, has the vibrancy. So let's get out there and vote. And particularly, I think, amongst the youth, the Asian community, I think let's get active. We're kind of privileged. We live in these places, but, we've got to look out after the community around us, the people who cook us food, who look after us, who protect our gates, protect our homes. Let's work together and get this thing done, right? I mean, what do you think, B? I mean,
100%.
And let's not lose another 5 years.
Yes.
On August the 9th, let's come out. Let's choose. I mean, I'm not saying choose me.
Yes.
Choose wisely. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
And it's important because we've got 5 years could be lost, and 5 years is a long time.
Exactly. 100% agreed with that. I think every individual needs to vote.
And I think some of the other ideas is to make sure that there's public toilets, there's clean and safe spaces that children can play in, there's lighting, and even more so than that, let's support the arts, the media, the sports. This is all part of our our fabric.
Yeah.
So these are the things that become very, very important as we go forward. We have a very strong community, we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of talent, we have a lot of energy. So let's use this to like I said, to make Parklands High Ridge a model community.
Correct. Well, thank you so much for coming here and for sharing your thoughts. And hopefully you win.
There you go.
So, that's good.
Well, thank you to your team.
Cheers.
It's been great. I love the music.
Exactly. So
Okay.
you got to keep it to Radio 44 100.8 FM in Nairobi City.
Opinions and views expressed on Radio 44 are solely of the panelist and interviewee and do not represent those of Radio 44, Radiocraft Media Limited, its affiliates, nor its employees.